Welcome back, student. So today I will discuss some questions that is very helpful for understanding. The first question is the freezing of water to ice and evaporation of water are physical changes. Very important. Freezing of water to ice and evaporation of water are physical changes. See, in this case, that means the put your reasons first. What is the reason? Freezing of water to ice and evaporation of water are physical changes. See, in both the cases, whenever you have freezed one water to ice, and by that particular time, this process is called solidification, and in the water is turned into gaseous or steam, this process is called your evaporation purpose. So both these two cases, the chemical composition is not changed, means both the process, suppose your solidification process, suppose your evaporation process, both these cases the water composition means H2O is not changed. Suppose you in ice there is here is also water is present. In case of water there is also H2 is present. Like your evaporation process, this process also water is not changed, only the state is changed. So that's why we know that in the physical change definition, whereas the state, shape, size, texture, color, this type of things will change, the change is called physical change. So this is the physical change. See the answer. So this is the suitable answer. So you have to see these things. Physical changes are freezing of water to ice and evaporation of water, because water can be brought back to its original form, that is liquid, by we can heat the ice to bring it back to water. So we can cool down the vapors to bring it back to water. That means in this total process the chemical composition is not changed, only the state is changed, and that particular state will be reversed, may reverse. Suppose that you have a water, and if you have a ice and you heat it, then it turn into liquid. This is the forward process by the applying heat, and after that particular liquid, whenever you cool down, and that particular liquid again solidified and will form the ice. So you see this process in this water, ice and water. In this process the ice is another state, that is solid state, and liquid, it is a liquid state. So state is changed, the composition is not changed. So that's why it is a physical change. Second question is burning of a candle is both physical change and chemical change. See, burning of a candle, whenever candle is burned, so this process is a physical change and chemical change. Why? See, some of the solid works first melts and turns into liquid, then it turns into vapors to produce a flame when a candle is lighted. New substances, carbon dioxide and water vapors are formed along with the evolution of light and heat energy. So this shows a chemical change. When some of the molten wax drops to the floor, it again solidifies, which shows a physical change. Thus, melting of a candle wax is a physical change, and the production of carbon dioxide and water represents a chemical change. That means whenever your candle will burn, that time two process is there. One process by which you can get the light, we can get the heat, we can get the energies, we can get the carbon dioxide and water vapor. Another process, the whole candle will melt it down and it will form the molten wax. So after the molten wax when solidifies, then again it will turn back into solid wax. So this whole process is called physical change. And the parallelly, whenever your carbon dioxide, your water vapor, your heat, light, these things are produced, this is called chemical change. So this two process is simultaneously related in this case. So that's why burning of a candle is both physical and chemical change. The thing is, question number C is burning of paper is a chemical change. C is burning of paper is a chemical change just because of new substances, that is ash, is produced when a piece of paper is burned. Even when the burning is stopped, the ash cannot be changed back into the paper. So this shows that the formation of the ash from the paper is a permanent and irreversible in nature. Okay, so whenever you paper you want, what will happen? Ash will form, and that ash is totally different, entirely different from the paper composition. So paper is totally different, ash is totally different. So new product is formed, and that particular ash will not back into the paper again. So this process is totally permanent process, and the new product is formed. That's why it is a chemical change. And the last question is, cutting off a cloth piece is a physical change, though it cannot be reversed. So very interesting question is, so see, in case of physical change, we only know that the texture, the shape, the size, the color, these things are allowable. So whenever you cut one cloth piece, what will happen? When you cut over cloth piece, what will happen? The shape, only the shape is changed. Okay, only the shape is changed, nothing is changed, only the shape, not color, not only the shape and texture is changed. Okay, only shape and texture is changed. So whenever this when the physical properties, whenever this kind of things like your shape, like your texture, like your color, this type of things will change, so that change is called your physical change. So this particular case, whenever you cut one cloth piece, in a big cloth piece you cut in a small pieces, that time only the shape is changed, or you can say that the texture is changed. So whenever the texture is changed, the the chemical properties, or you can say that the chemical composition will not change. So that's why this things is a physical change. Okay, although it is cannot be reversed back, but still it is a physical change. So the main thing of of your physical change, that is the composition. So in case of, or you can say that whenever the composition will not change, that time will not tell it is a chemical change. Whenever the composition is changed, whenever the new product is formed, whenever when the third thing is, whenever the process will be your permanent, that time you only conclude the chemical change, otherwise it is not. Okay, so this process is a chemical, this process is a physical change. So this is the reason, because it does not change in the chemical composition of cloth, and the change is only in the size, shape, texture, that undergo a physical change. So this is whole about your physical and chemical change. So some of the important processes regarding your physical and chemical change. See, the first thing is butter getting rancid. So butter getting rancid, that means it is a chemical change. Why? Because totally entirely different from the butter. So that is why it is a chemical change. New product is formed. This is permanent. So whenever the butter getting rancid, and that time the rancid when that time your that is your shore butter, or you can say that the new butter, or that will not turn back into your previous state. Okay, the thing is, the second thing is burning of coal. See, in case of burning of coal, this is chemical change. Why this is a chemical change? Just because of new product will form. Whenever you burn one coal, that time carbon dioxide, water vapor, etc, etc, this type of things will form, and this is entirely different from your coal, and this is the new product is formed. So that's why it is a chemical change. The third thing is drying of a wet clothes. See, drying of a wet clothes is also a physical change.